You got any idea how expensive Tiki's inhalers are, huh? The albuterol?
Precious, I sent you $1,000.
Did you really just say the check is in the mail? Really? I think I'm as dumb as you are, fat. Get out of my store! Get out! Don't make me hurt you! Get out! And out!
Precious!
I will kill you!
Precious! We need your old man to help me find my kid. He's missing.
It's always the help, right? The butler did it.
We found trace of the flumetrilin you used within Stephanie's injuries.
Zimmerman, right.
What?
Right, translation is you stabbed her with your gardening tool.
My colleagues at the Jeffersonian are testing your tools now. Can you turn your head to the side, please?
What? No.
Okay.
I didn't kill Stephanie. I grew up on the estate. Stephanie and I played together as kids. What is she doing?
I don't know, but, if you have nothing to hide, why would you be nervous?
Why would I kill her? The McNamara's were good to me. Even if the estate sold, I still have a pension and severance package.
Maybe you felt you deserved more. May I feel your mandible? It'll just take a second.
Do I have to?
I would.
Fine.
You're drunk! You can't drive! You're drunk, Mom! Get damn it! Get in the car! You are getting baptized today no matter what! You get out of this car, you're getting a hairbrush again. Do you understand me?
Let her out! You let her out!
You are the whole reason
You can't
she
drive!
needs Jesus.
You
Tell
understand me?
what
You
I
are
can't
drunk!
can do.
You can't
Don't
drive! Give me the keys!
Get your hands
You're
off of me!
drunk!
My way!
You can't drive!
Get out of my way! You little bastard!
Get in the car! Get in! Get in!
Get in! Little bastard! Don't you dare! Unlock the door! Unlock this door! Don't you dare get open my door! Stop! What do you think you're doing? Stop! Get out the car!
How long has Tara been missing?
3 days.
You told the sheriff?
He doesn't believe anyone kidnapped Tara.
Why is that?
She isn't much of a looker. Like they think no one would want her. But you know this crazy man isn't taking the pretty ones.
When you told the sheriff your concerns, did he report Tara missing to other jurisdictions?
No, he told me to make a flyer.
That's it? Why?
Because Tara ran away when she was in high school a few times. She wasn't a bad kid. It's just her father's a real. And sometimes the cops would come, so they think she's run off again. But look, I might not be the best mother, but I love her. And in my gut, I know something's really wrong. Help me.
And we have to work beside the local law
They don't
enforcement.
believe me.
You have to convince them to file a
No,
proper
no one is
paperwork.
listening
The
to me.
FBI has no
Please,
jurisdiction
please,
here.
can you please? This way I'm not the only one thinking about Tara.
Powerhouse. That's what this woman is. I've said the word before, but this woman embodies that. I mean, she's a public figure, an actress, a writer, a producer. She is the named brand ambassador for global disability inclusion. She's been in Watchmen, New Amsterdam, Sons of Anarchy, Game of Silence. Eileen Grubba. Hello.
Oh, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for coming here today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So what keeps popping into my head is that wonderful vegan restaurant you took me to.
Real Food Daily.
Oh my God. We have to do that again someday.
Yeah. Hopefully that one day is soon.
Oh, well, I got my second one, so yeah.
It's going to be a little longer for me to get out into the public again, I think.
Yeah. So where did the acting bug come about for you?
What a question.
I know.
Well, one thing is when you grow up in a huge family, everybody's always fighting to get their voice, I think. And when I was a little child, I became very creative at a young age, artistically, to entertain myself because I was sort of stuck inside and couldn't go out and play with all the other kids. So I learned how to do a lot of artwork and then started making handmade puppets and doing puppet shows. So I guess that's when I started storytelling. And I really have been a performer all my life because as soon as I got up to walking again after my childhood illness, I was cheerleading and performing in little shows in school. And then it just went on from there.
Yeah.
But the big bug came when I was in my 20s in Atlanta and started doing musicals on the stage. That's when I really fell in love with it.
Now, what made you say, wait a minute, I can sing too?
Oh, because, well, I grew up going to church and singing in church, and then I joined a choir. And then the people teaching us or leading the choir were really skilled vocalists and vocal teachers, and I learned that I had quite a big vocal range. So then I kept training, and singing just became something I really loved doing.
Yeah. I was watching a bunch of your clips today from your different your body of work, and every time I got to another clip, by the end of it, I was in tears. Whether it was a drama or comedy, I was going, and I knew you were an incredible actress, but to watch these, I'm going, she just like takes me every time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I have to, what was I watching? I was watching so much, I won't even go, I mean, everything that I saw just like blew me away.
Wow, thank you.
And now, talking about films, you're like, I'm seeing your posts that you're winning awards everywhere for Dark Hearts, right?
All over the world. Dark Hearts and Dead End Drive, which are both, completely disability inclusive films. Dark Hearts had about 80% of the cast and crew living with a disability of some kind or multiple disabilities, and from beginning all the way to post, editing. So, and Dead End Drive, of course, Tobias Forrest, who wrote it, and we produced it together, and that team was mostly people with disabilities as well. So to have them both hit the festival circuit within a few months of each other, and both of them winning awards like all over the world, just tells me the world is ready. They are ready, and they want the depth of our stories. They want that, They want people to make them feel.
Honey, she's gone.
No, she's not. It's not my fault.
You were drunk, Kel. What are you talking about?
You were responsible for her that night. You, not me.
Oh, my little girl. There is such a huge hole inside of my heart. I miss my baby so much.
Kel, my heart is dark. There are places you can't reach anymore. Now, I am sorry, but I have to go.
Please send me a sign. Let me know you're still out there. I'm gonna find you.
I'm a day ahead of about 1,000 of these fuckers. There's over 100 of us living in brick buildings behind a giant iron fence. They tore that place down like locusts. I'm the only one left.
Didn't even expect to survive this long out here on our own.
Sorry.
Don't be, Oscar. You're saving us.
Yeah, now you say the depth of your stories. You are, like we said, a writer. How long have you been writing? And I mean,
you know what? I started writing. I guess I started writing when it's not too long after my mother died, which was almost 30 years ago. And it was my way to process the loss of her.
Yeah.
And so I started writing back then and then just kept going. I always have all these great ideas, and I always have ideas that haven't been done. I also see things a lot differently than a lot of people because of the life experience I've had. So, you know, my point of view on a situation is usually pretty different than the average point of view.
yeah.
So I just keep writing because I have so much fun doing it. And then, you know, a lot of times you take a dire situation, and of course, because of my life experience, I always try to find the absolute worst possible case scenario of that situation. And then in my characters, I try to show them what I would do with it.
Now, how do you deal with that as an actor? I mean, we have all of Performing Arts Studio West watching this. We have Meet the Biz students, and it's out there on YouTube land. How do you? I mean, you are so depthful, and I mean, you go to your core and you're just there. You just bear it all. For those people who have that, whether they're grasping from their childhood, which could have been incredibly insane or rough, or a moment in their life, when they get there, sometimes people don't know how to get out of it. When you're in that moment, how do you go, oh, I got to shake this off?
Well, a very wise mentor I had for many years named Martin Landau. At the Actors Studio, I remember him saying year after year after year to the whole group there, okay, scene's over now, shake it off. You're not in it anymore. And for me, it's always been easy to do that. I can touch those dark places because I've done my work. I've done my years and years and years of training to learn how to play my piano, for lack of a better way of putting it. And then I know that when the song's over, the song's over. When the scene's over, the scene's over. And so just like in life, David, if you followed me around through some of my most dire challenges, you'll see that I accept and acknowledge the trouble when I'm in it, and the pain and the fear and the, you know, the challenge. And then I always find a way to laugh. It's always how I've survived. It's how I've survived my life. Right. So doing it after my work is kind of easy because I'm so thrilled I'm working.
Right.
And putting all that stuff to good use. And it makes me feel like all this life experience, which in my younger years was really hard to process why it was all happening and why it kept coming. But later in life, I can look back and see that it's an enormous gift to my work.
Mm. And it's that work and that artistry that keeps you going.
Yeah. It gives me a very strong purpose and a way to take all this life experience and put it out into the world in a way that can help other people who are maybe just now going through the things that I've come through. Right. And this especially applies to the kids. Now I'm going to get emotional when I tell you, I can never say this without getting emotional. For me, it's a lot about the kids that are coming up behind us who are being born with or acquiring disabilities in early life. And because I've been through what they are now going through or are about to go through, I have an enormous need to make sure that the world is more understanding this time around and more welcoming and more appreciative rather than rejecting and scorning and, you know, bullying and leaving out. I want this community to be understood, accepted, appreciated, and welcomed. So it gives me a way to do that through my stories, through the work, to try to help other people understand what it's really like to go through some of these things.
Yeah. I remember one time we were together and you were talking about how when you go in for an audition, sometimes they see your photo, but they don't know that, quote, you have a disability. And, you know, with me, again, I don't see the disability, but, you know, I'm looking at the person, but then you might walk into the room or something. Some people might look at you right now, well, wait, she doesn't have a disability. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, think that all you want to, as long as you don't keep me out of work. You know, like if it's not a disability in your eyes, it's not a disability for me.
Yeah.
I can manage this life. I've been doing it all my life.
Yeah.
It becomes a disability when people are using it against me or saying she can't do this job because she has a limp or they're worried about it. So I guess I hope that answers your question, but you know, I live with a few disabilities that change the way I function every single day, but that's my problem and it's my business. It's really no one else's business. And the only reason I've had to keep sharing it and talking about it is because our industry needed to have some comprehension and understanding that, you know, it's not cool to just judge someone or keep them out of work because you saw them come in with some battle wounds that you don't understand.
Yeah.
So I've had to share it a lot to advocate through the years for nearly 30 years now to open up the doors so that, you know, people will be more welcoming and let us have the same playing field as everybody else, the same opportunities.
And you're such an advocate. I mean, disability inclusion, anti-bullying, women's empowerment, patient advocacy, and living your dreams. So, and to be so specific with those is so wonderful. When I was reading this, I was going, wow, you know, because we hear the word advocate, but this is just fleshes it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess one of the things that does occur to me about having a life like mine is that it's not a judgment, it's just an observation that there are a lot of people out there in the world that get knocked out with their first challenge. And I didn't get the luxury of being knocked out with one challenge because I had to get up and start fighting the next challenge and then the next challenge and then the next challenge. So I kind of feel like it's sort of part of my purpose or my obligation to share with people that you don't have to let these challenges knock you out of the game. You can get up and keep going. And if there's anyone who can say that and prove it, it's me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who can say that and prove it, but I can really say that and have it coming from a place of knowing that you can, even when it feels like it's impossible, you can get up, move forward is what I mean. If you can't actually get up, move forward in a positive direction. And we have to, I think we have to stay alive. I think our spirits have to keep moving forward in order for us to survive all our challenges and to stay alive.
Well, what you're saying is so important, especially right now, because so many people are still stuck in their houses. So many people have been like for over a year now. When are we coming back to school? When are we going to do this? And people are really starting to be affected by it.
Yeah.
And they go to those dark places. And
Yeah, they do.
What you're saying is you go for that light. You go for the positive future of what you want.
Yes. And when you're in one of those really dark places, rather than just stay down, realize that that's an opportunity to create art. Remember when I think it was Meryl Streep said, take your broken heart and put it into your art? So, and I learned this years ago and was reminded many times through the years, in the darkest hour, you have an opportunity for gold as an artist. Put it on the page, put it on the stage, put it in the script, put it in the work, put it in the character. It all works for your characters, as Alan Miller would say. And even at Carmen Argenziano, who spoke for you at your school, he said that to me one time when I was having like such an incredibly unbearable loss that I was like, "Wah." And he listened and he said to me, Eileen, you know that character you're writing for this particular project I had been sharing with him? He said, you are at that place now. You are in that dark place now. Hang up the phone and go write for her. And I did, and he was right. And it's a piece that's really important to me that isn't out in the world yet. But when I read those scenes that I wrote at that time from my darkest place, I still can't read them without tears. So that means I know my audience is going to feel that when they see the film. So.
By the way, since you brought up Carmen, thank you. What a blessing he was coming to Meet the Biz. And thank you for sharing him with us is a shorter time that he had on this planet.
Do you know that his picture that you took with the crowd at Meet the Biz went up at his funeral and at his memorial? It went up on the screens when they were sharing his life's work. So, and I know it meant a lot to him. I know he enjoyed that day very much, and it moved him in a very soulful way. So
yeah, he's such an amazing man.
Yeah.
Amazing man.
Yeah.
Really. What, shifting the energy a bit.
Yeah.
What brings you the most joy in your life?
Working. I love working. I love working. And I love, like, you know what else I really truly love? I love being able to produce a project and call people that I know who've been working hard and training hard and deserve a break and saying, hey, I got a role for you. And I get so excited when I'm on a set and I'm acting or producing and acting and working with teams of people who have all come together to help each other create something wonderful. So I'm just the happiest when I'm working and then celebrating what we've accomplished. So that's when I have my greatest joy.
And you just, what is it, a week or two ago, you created and wrote a new film. Did you write the film as well for the Disability Film Challenge?
No, I didn't write that one. We all got on a Zoom and we created it together. And then Megan, who directed it via Zoom, actually wrote the script, and then I just did notes. But we all came up with the idea together. That was very silly, wasn't it?
I loved it. Oh my God. I could see that. Let's pay attention, people. That's it's like
so I don't have to pick up a weapon.
Right. I loved it. And I loved how it's like, hey, I can walk in anywhere. Nobody's gonna I'm a woman over 40. That was great. Good messages in the, and I heard that this year was the most submissions. They had over 90.
Wow. I've been doing that film challenge for like 7 or 8 years now, ever since Brock Wademan and Rhonda brought me in for the very first one with Carmen, which was called Family Affair. But we've been doing a film almost every year. I missed last year because of everything, COVID, and I was producing these other projects that were going into post-production now. So
you have done so many. You've been in SWAT, The Politician. I love that. The Walking Dead, Nip Tuck, New Amsterdam. Oh, Singularity. That's one that I was watching today, and I was like going, I was feeling my mother there. I mean, my mother's still here, but I still was like, oh my God, she's my mother.
Hello, Andrew.
I'm not Andrew anymore.
Of course you are. You're my little boy, don't you remember?
remember that I couldn't be there for you.
Hey, look at me. You were every beam of sunshine that ever lit up my life. I have always believed in you, and I always will.
How can I believe in myself when I couldn't save the person I care about the most? Now you're gone, and this is just in my head.
I may be gone, but reality is just perception. Your thoughts are what bring my spirit into existence. I'm here because of you.
Then why am I here?
You tell me. You're the one that brought me here.
The code. I need to know where the code is.
This was your favorite spot as a child. Remember?
Mom, now you have to listen to me. Look.
We used to come here every Sunday. You and your father used to play together right over there. You were so happy then. Not a care in the world.
Do you know where I can find the code?
No. Because there is no code. There never has been one.
What?
It's not a code that makes you what you are, Andrew. You are not what that man says you are. You are my son.
I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
No one understands it, Andrew. No one ever really will. What you need to know is that you are in control. Whatever it is that makes you what you are belongs to you. And only you.
You know, the power you have, I mean, everything you do. I mean, you take us in and allow us to experience our emotions with your work.
Wow.
So that's what I was thinking about your work. I mean, you have, I mean, I'm thinking about, let's say, one of the works. How is it working with Shirley MacLaine and Jessica Lange in Wild Oats?
Oh, God. Don't run. Just act normal. Oh, please get in. I am getting in. I'm getting in.
Jesus, Stanton, wait!
I can explain.
I have never seen this woman before in my life. I'm sorry if I startled you. I just called the bank in Connecticut and talked to the manager, and he's cleared the check.
What? All of it?
Yes, it's an insurance company check, so there's no problem. The funds should show up online by the time you get home.
That was worth what I had to do to get that job. And it was so worth it because when I was in my young 20s and I really started diving into the work, early 20s, Jessica Lange, I watched all her work. And incidentally, if you took a picture of Jessica Lange at 40 and you put it side by side with a picture of my mother at 40, and then put it side by side with a picture of me at 40, I think you're going to see something very interesting. The difference between her and my mother at 40 might have just been about eye color.
Really?
And you know, I watched all her movies and I loved her work, and you know, things like Frances and Blue Sky and so many things. And so to get to work with her, and it's fun because I told her how much I have this one picture of her on the cover of a magazine that looks just like a picture we have of our mom, who we lost so many years ago. And so when I got to work with her, I told her how I felt about her work and how much she looked like my mother. And she just looked at me and she sort of studied my face and she said, I can see that. I can see that. She could easily play my mom in something.
Yeah. And she still might.
One day. And Shirley MacLaine was pretty awesome too. She was so invested in connecting. I just remember her seeing me move across the set, and she asked me what was wrong with my leg. And I briefly told her, and she said, come sit with me. And then she wanted to just talk about it, you know, and she said something about, trying to remember exactly her words, but I still remember sitting there talking with her, and she was so interested in my story. And she said, you know what this means? And I was like, what? She's very into that stuff. She's like, all this has happened because you're about to do something really amazing with it. You know, she said, you have a big destiny ahead and a big thing coming. And I was like, oh, okay, I hope so. But I loved working with those women, both of them, and Andy Tennant, the director on that set.
Right.
There was a section where I had to like run out of the bank after them, and I was nervous because of the many years prior of what I've experienced with the industry, that I was a little nervous that when he saw me run out, he might just be like behind the thing going, what the hell, you know? So I just wanted to do a preemptive strike. So I just walked up to him and I said, so I just wanted to be open and tell you that I have a rebuilt leg. So I can run out that door, but I'm not sure it's going to be pretty to watch. And he smiled and he said, I know all about it and I'm fine with it. And I just remember being like, yeah, that times are changing. Times are changing. So,
I watched that clip, and I remember watching it when I saw the movie as well. And it's like you were there, and I went, "Oh, there she is!" And then I was, you know, and then I watched Hung, you know, a clip from Hung, and it was like, I mean, you comedy, whether it's comedy like those two or drama, you just like you said, playing the piano.
Yeah, there's, you know, I build different characters for everything. And I've actually had premieres of films where I took on a character and not a small character, a big one in a film. And afterwards have people who watched the premiere say to me, you were in the film? Because they didn't know. And then when I would say what my character was, they were like, whoa, you know, I had that happen with a couple of films because they just didn't know. And because I do morph into my characters, I really become them, and I move differently for them too. So I just find a way to do that. So people don't always know it's me, which is kind of fun. I hope I get more opportunities to do that on screen.
Yeah.
In the big screen, you know, I hope I do get to do that.
Well,
and if I don't, I'm creating it for myself. I'm creating those projects myself.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about, especially in this day and age, we have to create our own material.
Yeah.
We have.
I have well over 24 projects.
One second here.
Go ahead.
This is an important call I've been waiting for. Hello?
Go ahead.
Hi. Hi. Yes. And okay, and did you click in? It should be, yeah, it should be, you click in where it says just join the conversation. Okay. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you. We'll see you in a minute. I have a special guest for you today.
Oh.
So, you know, I always like to bring on special. Sometimes they're just a surprise. And sometimes, you know, I mean, they're, you know, somebody in your life that.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Hello.
Okay, now that's a big surprise. Wow.